Yep. Haya, tunaanza. Joseph, funga mlango. All right, a good afternoon. Welcome to Younib TV at One News Bulletin this beautiful Monday. Hope you had a wonderful weekend, of course, watching the Safari Rally and the thrilling football match between Harambee Stars and the Gabon. That's aside, here are our top stories.
Tuendelee kuomba ya kwamba viongozi wetu watafungua masikio na roho zao na wasikie kilio cha wananchi ambao wanaongoza. Tumesikia. It is important for every one of us to heed the message that we have been given today.
Kufika kwa mtoto nikapata amekatwa kabisa. Ubongo imetoka kipande viwili vya ubongo, moja huko, na alikatwa mapanga 3.
Maintained what we have given as our direction as Anglican Church, that in the church service is worship, and we are not going to allow any other speeches other than that which the church has organized as part of worship. So,
just highlight your pedigree and how does that prepare you for the position that you have applied for? If you can do that in about 5 minutes, that will be.
My name is Ann Atieno Amadi. I'm an advocate of the High Court of Kenya for the last 34 years. 20 of which have been in public service.
Mimi nakaa Genaba na Naivasha. Na kutoka town, kutoka mahali nimefika nimetumia masaa 3. Kwa hivyo mambo ni mangumu.
Hata ni mingi.
I came to watch the WRC with my friends here. We are enjoying, but the jam is too long and tough.
Hata kule State House mimi najenga, na sehemu zingine nyingi mimi najenga, na katika hiyo harakati ya kujenga pia kanisa la Mungu tutajenga.
All right, welcome. As we speak, the panel responsible for selecting the chairperson of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, is currently conducting interviews for the shortlisted candidates. Now, the candidates, who include Anna Madi, Abdul Kadir Lorot Ramadan, Charles Ayako Nyachai, and Edward Katana Ngeyua, will be interviewed today, while the remaining 7 will face the panel tomorrow up to Wednesday. Let us listen in.
But perhaps just highlight your pedigree and how does that prepare you for the position that you have applied for? If you can do that in about 5 minutes, that will be excellent for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you, honorable members of the panel. I'm pleased to be here. I'm grateful for the opportunity to come and have this conversation with this esteemed panel. My name is Ann Atieno Amadi. I'm an advocate of the High Court of Kenya for the last 34 years, 20 of which have been in public service. The rest have been in private practice, in civil society, and consultancy. I started off after my university studies as a magistrate, and I served in Kisumu and Mombasa for 7 years. And after that, I went into private practice for another 7 years. And during this period, I did a lot of pro bono work for the Federation of Women Lawyers. So in 2003, when the Federation of Women Lawyers felt that they needed to open a branch in Mombasa, because I practiced in Mombasa then, I became the natural choice to do that job. And I set up the FIDA Kenya office in Mombasa. That gave me an opportunity to put my organizational skills to use, and the office was very successful. It exists today, to date. I then got an opportunity to rise within the organization and serve as Deputy Executive Director of the Federation of Women Lawyers, and I then had to move to Nairobi to take up that position. It was a position that exposed me to fundraising. It exposed me to public interest litigation. It exposed me to resource mobilization and fundraising. It exposed me to working with local communities, protecting women's rights. And part of the outcome of that is that even long after I had left the organization, I got the opportunity to prepare a voters manual for women for the organization at that time, which is useful for the IEBC, because I began to exercise my knowledge and skills at that time in matter.
All right, now heading to Vatican, Pope Francis has finally been discharged from hospital where he was receiving treatment after being diagnosed with double pneumonia. The Holy Father was first admitted at the Gemelli Hospital on 14th of February and has since been in the care of his doctors. The pontiff first appeared at the window of the hospital where he imparted the apostolic blessings to Catholics who had gathered around. His doctors asserted that he would continue his recovery at the Vatican.
The Holy Father was never intubated, and he always remained alert and oriented. The Holy Father will be discharged tomorrow, as we said before, in a stable clinical condition with a prescription to partially continue drug therapy and a convalescence and rest period at least 2 months.
The papacy is definitely entering a new phase, perhaps a final phase, regardless of how much longer he lives. He had double pneumonia. He's missing one lung. He's 88 years old. It seems to be almost impossible that the papacy will return to the way it was before he entered the hospital. He is not totally healed. He still has to convalesce for about 2 months, which is quite a long time. And he also has to continue taking medicines and also continue oxygen therapy.
President William Ruto has insisted that he will continue with the construction of churches on what he called a dedication to God, despite being heavily criticized. Speaking at the AIC church in Jericho during the service, President Ruto criticized those opposing the construction of churches, and also the president's associates continued to attack bishops who criticized the government and also took the opportunity to defend the UDA-ODM agreement.
Katika hiyo harakati ya kujenga, pia kanisa la Mungu tutajenga. Tutamuhaibisha shetani. Shetani hawezi kutuzuia kujenga nchi yetu ama kujenga makanisa zetu.
Every individual who gives in church gives because they know why they are giving thanks to the God that they believe in. And nobody should judge.
Saizi tunajenga manyumba, nia yangu ni 1,500, manyumba 1,500. Hata kule State House mimi najenga. Around Eastlands, we are going to build almost 40,000 housing units. Hapa Eastlands, hizo tulianzisha hapo Mbotela, tunajenga mpaka itafika ghorofa ya 26. We want to change the face of this area. Watu ambao hawajatumainia ya kwamba wataweza kuwa na nyumba ambayo wanaita ni yao, for the first time they will have an opportunity to own a home. God has given me a chance to be a builder, and I have built many things. I am working with the leaders of Nairobi. My aim is to build an extra 3,005 classrooms for the children of the city of Nairobi. In the last 1.5 years, as a government, we have built close to 17,000 classrooms in Kenya. We will continue to do that.
I've had a challenge where some of our church leaders have become judges, have become more of political players. And therefore we sit back and ask ourselves, if the church, instead of praying, guiding, offering positive criticism, becomes political prayers, who then will become the conscience of society?
Sisi tunakusupport through broad-based government, na tuko nyuma yako kabisa, na maombi pia. Najua na maadui wengi, lakini maombi taraisha mambo yako.
And now retired President Uhuru Kenyatta has urged leaders who have been given the status of leading the nation to be quick to listen to the wishes of the people. Uhuru spoke while attending a Thanksgiving Mass for the newly installed coadjutor bishop of the Catholic Diocese of Meru. The retired president avoided talking about politics but urged Kenyans not to hesitate in their zeal to criticize the church and leaders in the country. He was accompanied by former DCI boss George Kinoti and former CS of Agriculture Peter Munya.
Tuendelee kuomba ya kwamba viongozi wetu watafungua masikio na roho zao na wasikie kilio cha wananchi ambao wanaongoza. Tumesikia. It is important for every one of us to heed the message that we have been given today. Na mimi sitaki nirudie vile nimesema, kila mtu ambaye ako na masikio amesikia. Yangu ni kusema tuendelee kuombea nchi yetu ya Kenya. Tuendelee kuombea viongozi wetu, sababu lazima tuombee viongozi wetu. But even as you heal souls, may you also help give this country direction. You must save souls. But if you have no lives, you will have lost those souls. So we must protect yale ambaye ni ya dunia hii, hata tukilinda maisha ambaye atakuja. Na nimwambie maisha ya kuwa mtu ambaye amestaafu ni mazuri sana. Na kuwa umestaafu bado ukiwa na nguvu, kuna responsibility. Unaangalia wale wengine kwa TV tu, ukiwaangalia vile wanaendelea, kwa sababu wengine wanafikiria hii makazi ni rahisi.
Now, the Anglican Church has continued to hold its position of preventing politicians from addressing believers in church. Once again in Nyeri County, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and his entourage were denied the opportunity to address believers. The church's Archbishop Jackson Ole Sapit has insisted that this is the procedure that will be followed in the Anglican churches. He spoke during the consecration of Colonel Gerald Mwangi Muriithi as the third bishop of the ACK Diocese of Mount Kenya West at the St. Peter's Cathedral.
We have maintained what we have given as our direction as Anglican Church, that in the church service is worship, and we are not going to allow any other speeches other than that which the church has organized as part of worship. So this is what we shall maintain not only in this church but in all our services going forward. Do peace crusades outside because you don't know when the slip of the tongue happened. So we will make all our statement. If we are jointly doing it with the politicians, we will do it outside of the church worship.
Na mutikamake mutire burete kagatia maundu maitu ni mega tuguthio tubangite o kahora muthie na mbere na gututirira na mahoya na nigetha tukinye kuria Ngai witu endaga tukinye. Ithuĩ turenda thayu thiini wa Nyeri County andu mendane, andu maiguithanie, andu maikare me kindu kimwe na tutigetikire gukahuthirwo kungethanira tondu tuli kindu kimwe na tuli andu amwe. Ni twaiguithania andu aitu, ni twaiguithania.
And on to a sad story, Lutaso village was overcome with grief during the funeral of a Form 2 student from Carol Luanga Secondary School who was allegedly killed by her Form 4 lover from Musaga Secondary School. It is said that the deceased girl allegedly refused to comply with her boyfriend's desire to terminate a pregnancy. In another similar tragedy, Irene Oyalo, who was also allegedly murdered by her husband, a teacher at Burangasi Secondary School, was buried at Burangasi Village, Nabaholo constituency. Irene was attacked after she allegedly refused to prepare meat for her husband.
Grace alikuwa mpendwa wangu na nilikuwa nampenda na moyo wote. Kufika kwa mtoto nikapata amekatwa kabisa, ubongo imetoka, kipande viwili vya ubongo, moja huku moja huko, na alikatwa mapanga 3. Panga ingine ilikata paka masikio, hiyo alikatwa. Panga ingine ilikatwa kwa mapeka, panga ingine ilikatwa kwa kichwa, akaanguka. Na ninaamini kama maneno ya pangi, kama ni maneno ingine, kama amelaniwa, mimi sijui. Sasa Mungu mwenyewe ndiye atajua.
Hata hiyo mtu alifanya hiyo kitendo, si ati ni mtu ambaye anatosha kuwa nasimama na kusema yeye ni mwanaume. Kimile yetu tunasemanga ya kwamba hakuna wakati ambaye tunaua mama na mtoto. Ni wanaume ndio wanakutana kwa kiwanja. Sasa hii imetendeka, sijui tutasema nini. Na to make the matters worse, ile kitu ambaye Irene aliuawa ni kwa sababu ya chakula.
Huyo mwenye alifanya hivi saa yako hospitali, akitibiwa, akiamuka, awe mgeni wa serikali akule haki ambayo inastahili kwake. Wewe mwenye ulifanya hiyo, usichukue simu yako upigie mheshimiwa Wangwe umwambie mheshimiwa nitetee. Ukishikwa enda kotini, jitetee huko. Ukifungwa tukusalamie kule kwa dirisha ukiozea mule ndani. I don't want to defend an outright genocide. Hii ni kuua kikaidi.
Mimi ningeomba ya kwamba serikali mkiwa hapa, jameni, mhakikishe ya kwamba Irene anapoenda atendewe kitendo cha haki. Koti zihakikishe ya kwamba yule jamaa atendewe kitendo cha haki.
And on to some sports news. The 2025 WRC Safari Rally concluded yesterday in Naivasha, Nakuru County, an event thronged by thousands of Kenyan supporters and graced by President William Ruto and Cabinet Secretary for Sports Salim Vuria, among other dignitaries, at the typically enjoyable and lively Hell's Gate National Park. In the competition, Toyota's Alfin Evans claimed victory, marking Toyota's 3rd victory in the 14-leg series this season.
Mimi nakaa Genaba Naivasha. Na kutoka kutoka mahali nimefika nimetumia masaa 3. Kwa hivyo mambo ni mangumu.
I came to watch the WRC with my friends here. We are enjoying, but the jam is too long and
tough. Friday was a car breaker, and then now we've been nursing our car through Saturday and Sunday. I've had no power steering all of yesterday and today, and now the computer in my car's playing doo-doos. It comes on and goes off.
I'm also excited to see the approval of specifications for the cross-car project, which, with the support of FIA, WRC promoter, and ASN, will work with technical training colleges to manufacture the cars locally.
This has been very spectacular, Your Excellency, and it has been successful in all fronts. Your Excellency, the tourism sector has benefited a lot. and therefore this rally has been very, very successful.
All right, the story of the just concluded Safari Rally competitions wraps up our bulletin this afternoon. We are grateful to everyone who made it a success. This was Younib TV at 1. Stay tuned for entertaining, educational and informative programs only here at Younib TV. My name is Cliffe. Omondi.